If you've ever been confused by your click-through rate, or you don't know how to interpret what it is that you're seeing, or you don't know what's good or what's bad or what to even think about your click-through rate, this video is going to demystify all of that for you. And by the time we're finished, you're going to have a very good understanding of your click-through rate and how to look at it when you're looking in your YouTube analytics, engaging that against the performance of your videos. And we're starting right now. This video is part of my subscriber Q&A series where I answer your questions about YouTube. Today's question comes from Rebecca Rowe from Simple Finance. Rebecca says, I have a question about click-through rates and the algorithm. I've always thought that I have a bad click-through rate because I average about 3 to 5%. However, my most recent videos also have an average of 5.7%, not that much higher, and has brought in over 1,000 views in the first 2 days. My other videos average 40 to 100 views in that period. So is it not really the click-through rate that matters as much? And then she has some additional information there and says, my question is, should I pay more attention to the click-through rate and try to improve my thumbnails, or should I just keep making my videos and wait for YouTube to find the right audience for my other videos as well? So first, thank you, Rebecca, for that question. So when it comes to the answer to this, instead of just telling you from my experience, I'm actually going to show you what YouTube has to say about the questions that you have. So that way you're getting your answer from their official documentation. So here in the YouTube help pages, they have the question of how do I know if my impression click-through rate is high or low? What YouTube says is impressions click-through rate measures how often viewers watched a video after seeing a registered impression on YouTube. If you're new to YouTube, an impression is when they show your video to somebody on the platform. It likely represents a subset of your channel's total views, since not all impressions are counted in this metric, such as those on external websites or end screens. Impressions click-through rate will vary based on the type of content, audience, and where the YouTube impression was shown. Keep in mind that your video thumbnails are always competing against other videos, whether on the home page, up next, or on the watch page in search results, and even in subscription feeds. So what they're saying right there is when you publish your videos that you are competing with pretty much everything that YouTube thinks is a good fit for your viewers. So when you are looking at your click-through rate, it varies just based on the other videos that you're competing against there as well. So if a bunch of other videos are kind of taking the traffic, then in that particular case, even though you could be getting impressions there, you could just be getting beaten out by all the other videos that you're competing with at that point in time, even if your click-through rate is a little bit higher. Now, if you want to know what's good when it comes to your click-through rate, here's what YouTube has to say about that. Half of all the channels and videos on YouTube have an impression CTR that can range between 2% and 10%. The thing that is the most important to remember here is that your click-through rate, you need to make sure that you're looking at that compared to the impressions that you're getting. So for example, if you get 100 impressions on a video and you have a high click-through rate on that, well, in that particular case, it's only been sampled to 100 people. And based on how YouTube works, out of those 100 people, those are the most likely people to enjoy your content. That's why YouTube is showing it to them first. That's also why when you are publishing your content, you'll see a higher click-through rate when you first publish your video, and then it can start falling down from there. Not always, but that's extremely common. Now, the next thing I want to bring to your attention is this. YouTube also says that new videos or channels, like those less than a week old or videos with fewer than 100 views, can see an even wider range. If a video gets a lot of impressions, such as if it appears on the homepage, it's natural for the CTR to be lower. Videos where most of the impressions are from sources like your channel page may have a higher click-through rate. Ultimately, it's best to compare CTRs between videos over the long term and keep in mind how their traffic sources will affect click-through rates. Now, if you're new to YouTube, this might sound like a bunch of gibberish because they're talking about traffic sources and click-through rates and impressions and all these things. But what your traffic sources are is on YouTube, they have a handful of different pages where you're going to pull most of your traffic from. So that's going to be home pages, it's going to be suggested videos, and it's going to be YouTube search. So when you go into your traffic sources report in your YouTube analytics, those are 3 of the options that you're going to see, but you're also going to see external, you're going to see channel pages and things like that. So when you are looking at your click-through rate, make sure that you're not looking at this particular part of your analytics for your click-through rate. Instead, what you want to do is for the video that you're looking at the click-through rate, you actually want to click into the video and then go into the analytics for the individual video. And then from there, you want to go into your advanced mode of the analytics, then into your traffic sources. And once you're in there, then you're actually going to see how your videos are performing in all of the different pages of YouTube, which gives you a lot better insights on your real click-through rate. And here's another really important thing that YouTube says about your click-through rate and trying to raise your click-through rate. Avoid trying to increase your CTR using thumbnails or titles that are clickbait. YouTube will recommend a video to viewers if the video is relevant to them and if the video's average view duration indicates that viewers find it interesting. Clickbait videos tend to have low average view duration and therefore are less likely to get recommended by YouTube. You can tell if your thumbnail is clickbait if it gets a high CTR but low average view duration and lower than expected impressions. Now that part is extremely important. So they don't go into the nuance of it here, but here's what that actually means. So when YouTube is serving your videos to people on their platform, the only thing that the system is wanting, or the only thing that YouTube wants, is that when they present your videos to people, if it's something they're interested in, then they click on it and they come in and they have a good experience with your content. So YouTube is trying to keep viewers satisfied and keep them on their platform by showing them the right content at the right time that they're most likely to engage with and enjoy. Because of that, it's important to make sure that when you are looking at your click-through rate, you're not just looking at the click-through rate number itself, but you're also looking at the watch time that's being generated from your video. So when you are looking at the effectiveness of your thumbnail, what you actually want to look at is, of course, you want to look at the number for the click-through rate compared to the impressions that it's getting, because the impressions part is really important, but you also want to look to see how those impressions led to watch time. So for example, if somebody's interacting with your content and they're leaving quickly, just like that message that I just showed you, then YouTube's going to deem it as a non-satisfactory experience. However, if somebody clicks on your video and your video matches their expectation, they're more likely to watch that video for a longer period of time, which then tells YouTube that they're enjoying your content and that you're not misleading people, which is giving them what they want. And in return, they're going to give you what you want as the content creator, which is showing your videos to more people that are also likely to enjoy it and have that great experience. And another thing that you want to think about when it comes to your click-through rate and how it relates to the watch time that you're getting on the videos is when somebody is looking at your thumbnail and your title from the outside, the only information they have about your content is what they're seeing right there. So that expresses the topic of the video to them and whatever it is that they might experience in the content. So because of that, you have to make sure when you're putting your thumbnails together and your titles that you are ensuring that you're building the right expectation for what it is that they're going to get inside of the video. And when you do that, it's going to create a much better experience for your viewers, which then is going to help YouTube, again, recommend it to more and more people. So what you want to think about, Rebecca, and anybody else that's dealing with this, is when you are looking at your click-through rate, especially when you're comparing it to other videos, you need to make sure that you're also considering the impressions that it's getting and the watch time that's happening on those videos as well, in terms of the actual watch time and the percentage viewed, because those are also a reflection of the experience that people are having and if it's satisfactory or not. And when you're comparing videos, another thing that you want to make sure you're thinking about is, okay, if I have a video that's getting a 5.7 click-through rate after, let's say, 1,000 impressions on YouTube homepage, and then I have another video that has a 6% click-through rate also on YouTube homepage with 200 impressions, even though it might look like that 6% is doing better, it has a lot fewer impressions, which means it's been tested against fewer people. So because of that, it's easier to keep that number high. Whereas you've had 1,000 impressions on the 5.7, which makes that one a stronger click-through rate because it's been shown to more people and more people have responded positively to it. If you want to learn more about YouTube and see other videos in this series, click into this playlist right here. And if you want your question answered, make sure that you reply to my community posts when I do post the option there to ask your question for these particular videos. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.